This is what it's all about, man. This is it. This is the rebuttal. In this video, we're going over Big Z, as we knew him here in Vancouver, but not Big Z, as he'll be known as to Boston Bruins fans. We're going over their big, I say literally big, yeah, he's huge, their big defenseman signing of this free agency period, Nikita Zadorov. Because when it comes to Zadorov, he ended up making some comments the other day about the Vancouver Canucks, and we had to go out there and say this, dude. We had to. Now, Big Z, if you've been following the drama, if you've been following the storylines, you would have known that Canucks fans, like myself, wanted to see this guy re-sign in Vancouver. But the problem was the price tag. He had such a fantastic 2024 playoffs with the Canucks that he pretty much earned every extra $1 million that he was able to get on his contract. He earned every extra year. He tremendously bolstered up his stock, and it priced himself out of the Vancouver Canucks system, even though in the regular season he was more so just a normal, okay, he's just a guy, like he's there. Wasn't too spectacular in the regular season with the Canucks. In the playoffs, though, he came alive. Now, in Boston, he has a chance to prove himself as a guy who is worth that 6-year, $5-point-something million AAV contract. But when it comes to Zadorov and his media interviews, we all kind of recognize that he was one of the most outspoken and, let's just say, clever guys in the media. He had some really interesting things to say. He was always a vibrant personality. You could tell this guy is a total extrovert, and he's not afraid to speak his mind on things. As a result, when he signed with the Boston Bruins, he made some comments about the Vancouver Canucks that I wanted to go out here and talk about in this video. In particular, he's referring to his buddy, his teammate, his fellow signee with the Bees, Elias Lindholm, and what exactly went down in Vancouver with Lindholm. This is what Zadorov had to say. It's kind of a new opportunity for Elias Lindholm. He got traded to Vancouver. He kind of didn't play the role that he fits there, I feel like. So when here, I feel like he can come back to his version when he was in Calgary, when he was in the top line, top penalty kill, and everything. And the first reply says, what a freaking traitor. Okay, that's a little bit dramatic, but I did want to make a little bit of a comment on these Zadorov comments here. Yeah, commenting on comments. What else can we do here? It's the off-season. There's nothing going on here, man. But for Nikita Zadorov to have this kind of perspective on Elias Lindholm, to say that the Vancouver Canucks didn't really put Lindholm in the role that Lindholm fits, I gotta say, man, really? Come on. Like, you can't expect the Vancouver Canucks to dethrone Elias Pettersson and JT Miller to give Elias Lindholm #1 center minutes when he's the rental guy. Like, he was a trade deadline pickup. Not even trade deadline, like a few weeks before the trade deadline, and he wasn't great. Like, you can say what you want about the injury, you could say what you want about him being hurt. The Vancouver Canucks had no choice but to play Lindholm further down in the lineup, especially in the regular season. There was never going to be a version of the Vancouver Canucks in 2023-2024 where they had Lindholm as the top line guy. They weren't going to play him with Miller, they weren't going to play him with Besser, they tried him out with Petey, it didn't work. Like, he had first-line caliber talent. Okay, playing with Gaudreau and Yakemchuk, awesome. He had 100-point caliber line mates or whatever, but he himself was a 40-goal, 80-point guy playing in that top-line spot in Calgary. He was not anywhere near that in Vancouver. So I don't know if Nikita Zadorov is saying that it's Vancouver's fault that Lindholm didn't play all too well, or if it's Lindholm not being all too great, but the way these comments are made, yeah, no, I don't really, Is Lindholm going to be that good in Boston? Who really knows? We already made our video talking about how it's not looking great for Lindholm because of the projected contracts that were handed out and similar deals in the past that have kind of hovered around that same talent profile. We had spoken about Louis Eriksson, Brian Gionta, a few other names that had really tarnished their reputation because the contracts that they had signed were so big, and these were pretty things to say about players. You know, you don't want to say that a guy's going to become the next Louis Eriksson, the next overpaid bum, wherein his team is going to hate him literally like weeks after the regular season begins because he's so expensive and he's so long-term. But for Elias Lindholm, I mean, we said it in the last video, we'll say it again here, he has to go out there. and be that number one and show off that he was worth that money in order for Boston Bruins fans to not turn on this guy right away. Because if he plays in the same way that he was playing as a Vancouver Canuck, in the regular season at least, where his production wasn't great, he wasn't playing with pace, he was too focused on defensive things and wasn't scoring any points, then Boston, you're going to have yourselves a problem. Zadorov seems to think that a lot of that had to do with the Vancouver Canucks not playing Lindholm in his best role. But, you know, cooler heads can prevail here. We could have a rational conversation about that as the season goes on. For now, it's just the off-season. For now, it's just smoke and mirrors. For now, Nikita Zadorov is just saying what he says because he wants to be a fan favorite. And he had the same effect here in Vancouver. I'm not going to say that he didn't. I'm not going to say either that I didn't bite, you know? Like everybody here in Vancouver, we loved / love Nikita Zadorov as fans of the Vancouver Canucks. And Boston fans, I have no doubt that y'all be feeling the same thing over the upcoming days and few weeks into the regular season. Even if Zadorov isn't like the most amazing player, he's going to have some big hits, he's going to have some big interviews, and he's going to say some big things. He's going to make himself a fan favorite wherever he goes. So, starting things out here, he's defending his buddy Lindholm from the Vancouver mob and saying, no, it's because the Canucks did not put him in a position to succeed. He is a lot better than what he showed off in Vancouver. And to be fair, you know, Lindholm was good in the playoffs. He was very strong in the playoffs, just under a point per game, and he was a defensive monster. He was a shutdown beast. He played in the third line with Garland and Joshua that seemed to get everything done when they needed to, and he scored some big goals. You know, first goal of the playoffs for Vancouver in Game 1 against Nashville. He scored the overtime winner in Nashville to give the Vancouver Canucks a 3-1 series lead. He was clutch when he needed to be, and you can say it's because he got shut down towards the end of the season for injury recovery purposes. You could say it's because he was on a third-line role, playing against lower competition compared to if he was playing in the first line. There are a lot of factors that go into this, but for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Nikita Zadorov speaking out about why Lindholm struggled in Vancouver. Was it because Lindholm wasn't given that first-line spot? Honestly, I think that's a pretty dumb thing to say because there was never going to be a world where Lindholm overtook Pettersson and Miller, but, you know, Nikita Zadorov's got to hype up his guy somehow, right? And I'm not even going to go out there and say that I'm antagonizing Zadorov with this video. I'm just responding to some comments that he had made. If anything, there's a lot of optimism for Nikita Zadorov and for Lindholm to go over to Boston, and I don't want to rain on any Boston fans' parade thinking that, oh yeah, we just signed our first-line center. Fantastic. I'm not going to say that that's not possible. He is technically better than Pavel Zacha and Charlie Coyle, but if Nikita Zadorov is hyping up Lindholm to be this 80-point, 40-goal guy like he was in Calgary playing with Tkachuk and Gaudreau, I'm not too sure if that's all in the cards here, but let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Either way, if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan or a Boston Bruins fan, how do you feel about the Nikita Zadorov and Elias Lindholm acquisitions by the Bees? If you had seen the previous video talking about how Lindholm projects similarly to Louis Eriksson, then hey, you can express your frustration in the comment section one more time. It's all your floor, man. The comment section is open for anybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.